NASCAR is brought to you by DeWalt.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to NASCAR racing on Eurosport. Race 6 of 34 of the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. I'm Ian Sweet, standing in temporarily, hopefully, for Martin Haven, who has been delayed. He should be joining us soon. But in the meanwhile, I'll get the race underway for this 500-lap, 266.5 mile race. As I said, race 6 of 34. It was back in, well, in the 1960s, the Bruton Smith Speedways bought this circuit, and they've reconfigured it. It used to be known as the world's fastest half mile. And then in 1996, they launched a huge expansion scheme and increased the circuit to 0.533 of a mile. And the curves were increased from 22 degrees to 36 degrees. The stands were increased from to hold up to 135,000 instead of the 71,000 in the early days. And well, it was a stadium that was opened back in 1961, and the famous Jack Smith got credit for his first victory that year, although Johnny Allen was driving in relief of Smith and actually crossed the finish line first. So what about the standings so far this year after 5 races? Bobby Labonte is leading on 794 points. Closely behind is Mark Martin on 785, and Dale Earnhardt is 762. You saw the pole position. For the first time, it goes to Steve Park in his Chevrolet. In the years that he's been driving NASCAR, he's never met or never got to the #1 Bud pole position, but today he does. And in doing so, he did break the track record with an average speed of 126.370 miles per hour. How long do you think it took him to get around the circuit? Remember, it's just over half a mile, 0.533 of a mile. Well, it was 15.184 seconds, and it looks as though they're underway. So 500 laps, 266.5 miles. And that should take us something like 2.5 hours. Last year, the #2 car of Rusty Wallace was victorious. And Wallace is not having a good year after the success of last year. In the first race on the Daytona 500, it was Dale Jarrett who won the number 88 car. And then in Dora Lube in North Carolina, it was the 18 car of Bobby Labonte. And we moved on to Cars Direct Speedway in Las Vegas. And this time it was the 99 car of Jeff Burton. And then the Cracker Board in Atlanta, when it was the #3 car of Dale Earnhardt. And then last time out in Darlington, the Melcom 400, it was the 22 car of Ward Burton. So early days, throws and spills already. They're all over the track, and we're going to have a yellow flag here, and we're going to have a restart. This is the onboard camera, just to show us a bit of a shunt. Took someone off there, didn't it? And that is the difference with NASCAR racing. They don't care, they hit. So that's the 21 car of Elliott Sadler, the Ford. Already lots of work in the pits. This is the 66 car, Darrell Waltrip, another Ford, the Route 66 big K-Mark Ford. And they're working hard. They've got problems on that front near side wheel. It's offside in America. That's the other way around, isn't it? It looks as though they've got it out. Now that's the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt. Of course, the victor in the Cracker Board in Atlanta. So we see them warming up the tires, and we have another start. So it looks as though on lap 9. And it is Steve Park, the #1 car leading, the yellow car, the Pennzoil Chevrolet, parts from East Northwood in New York. mentioned 126.37 miles per hour. 296 laps to go. These are the standings. You can just see them. So Gordon, third overall, or third ranked in this race, should I say. And 13th ranked overall, so it's not unlucky 13 for him at the moment. But a long way to go. 294 circuits of this Bristol Speedway oval. And the three cars really did get close to the wall there. Dale Earnhardt was right on the edge. So they're zooming around here at 125 plus miles an hour, and those are the standings. Earnhardt leads. Mayfield second. Gordon down into third position. With Steve Park, who started number one, in fourth position. And the current leader of the NASCAR is in fourth position. Done a turn there, took the back off of the 42 car of Kenny Irwin's Chevrolet, and he's got to go in for a new rear wing. And this is the 13 car of Robbie Gordon. Hard to tell, isn't it? I think it's 13. It's that side of the door taken off. As he eased down the banking, ripped his number off. But I'm pretty sure it is the 13 car, the CD2 Ford. Robbie Gordon. So he's got some of the back end as well, isn't it? In fact, it's the 3 car. Dale Earnhardt, he was leading, but he's got problems, isn't he? Angles are all wrong. I think that could be the end of Earnhardt's day. It's bent all over the place, isn't it? I think they call it out of traction. Yeah, certainly the early leader, the Chevrolet of Dale Earnhardt, currently third overall. His ace history. That's what's happened. Look at that, took him back right off too. It was a real accident as far as he was concerned. Nothing to do with him, but there's nothing he could do about it. And he's now history. So as he comes down off the bank, Earnhardt just clips him, takes the back off of his car, bangs into the wall, puts the car out of true, and you can't sort of snail along. That's not what you do down this main street, okay? You don't ride along with your tyres on. So that was disaster for Dale Earnhardt. We're working hard on it, but I think his days are numbered. Jeremy Mayfield, who was in third position, must now be up into second position overall. And he's away again. And here is the leader, the 24 car of Jeff Gordon, the Chevrolet. He too has a quick pit stop. It's not the pit stops of Formula One when they go through in about 6 seconds. These guys are a little more leisurely as they go through, but it is full speed. This is Mark Martin's Ford, the Valvoline Cummins Ford, the number 6 car. And a quick touch, and off he goes. That goes the 7 car of Michael Waltrip right behind him, another Chevrolet. So it's another yellow flag, and they'll all line up again, and they'll be away again. last year they had 7 caution flags. Talking of 7, there is number 7, Michael Waltrip, in his Chevrolet. New tyres, just trying to warm them up, and that's the accident that put Dale Earnhardt out of the Bristol Speedway NASCAR. Well, he thinks about that. We're going to go for a short break, come back for more of the action. Welcome back to Bristol Motor Speedway, race 6 of 34 of this year's NASCAR Winston Cup. And we're on lap 392, and the car number 12 with Jeremy Mayfield, the Ford, is leading. As we saw the shunt of Dale Earnhardt just before the break, and I don't think his car is back into action. That's the 2-car of Rusty Wallace going through. Of course, it won here, staggering 12, in fact, not 12 times. That's Darrell Waltrip who's won here a staggering 12 times, 7 consecutive races. So there we are, caution lap 6 with 7 last year. So that's 108 laps to go. And Mayfield has got a bit of a jump on the rest of them, but I'm sure they'll reel them in as they all get up to speed. Of course, all this starting and stopping does put the engines under a huge amount of stress, more likely to break down. And they'd just like to get up to speed and cruise around here at a mere 125 miles an hour. There's the 26 car of Jimmy Spence there, 13 car of Robbie Gordon just inside him. Darrell Waltrip, there we are. We saw the 66 car of Waltrip. I mentioned 12 victories on this oval, but it's still Mayfield, Wallace and Labonte. So Labonte's now moved up into 3rd position. He's leading overall. After 5 races, Labonte had one single victory this year. Jeremy Mayfield, he hasn't had the best of seasons, but he's leading here. His best position is only 7th in the Doraluba in North Carolina. So Mayfield's doing something fairly special at the moment. That's the 17 car of Matt Kenseth, the Ford, the DeWalt Tools Ford. And right behind him, it looks as though it's the 77 car of Robert Presley, another Ford. There we are, there's the 17 car of Matt Kenseth. But it's still Jeremy Mayfield leading. Rusty Wallace in 2nd position. And Wallace is currently 10th overall. He's had an up and down season. He was 4th in the Daytona 500 and 4th again in the Cracker Barrel in Atlanta, and was 9th in the Duralobe in Atlanta. So consistency is not quite his forte at the moment. 2 non-finishes or lower finishes, should I say, in Daytona and Las Vegas. So that's the 12 and 2 car, 1st and 2nd, Mayfield and Wallace. Both Fords, Rusty Wallace is the Miller Lite Ford, and the Mobo 1 Ford of Jeremy Mayfield from Owensboro. That's the view of Rusty Wallace. He's right behind him, isn't he? Well, these cars are just about evenly matched. He gets a bit of a toe, tries to make a move on the inside, and I think he's got the better line. He goes through. So there we are. Rusty Wallace cruises through on the inside. To take the lead. Now Jeremy Mayfield will sit in and bide his time, I suspect, get a bit of a suck and then dive through on the inside. Those are the standings, 405 laps of the 500, so we're into the last 5th of this Bristol Motor Speedway 500, the Food City 500. And it's still Rusty Wallace leading. I must apologise for the sound. It's a bit all over the place, but please bear with us. So it's Wallace leading, Mayfield second. Yeah, he clips the wall there. Did Mayfield. And it does give you a feeling of speed, doesn't it, when they zoom along that barrier at 125 miles an hour. And these 130 odd thousand people are loving this. They really do love this race here. It's as though the 18 car of Bobby Labonte, the Pontiac, is still back there in third position, but these two have pulled out slightly. This is one of the races further down. The 10 car of Johnny Benson moves through on the inside of Ward Burton. Fourth overall in the series at the moment is Burton. And Jeremy Benson in his Lycos.com Pontiac. Of course, these .comers in America are making tons of money at the moment, and they're putting their money into just about everything. Apologies for the lack of picture there. A slight problem in our feed. We just missed someone shunting out there. The number 8 car of Dale Earnhardt. That's both Earnhardts out of it. The Chevrolet of Dale and the other Chevrolet of Dale Jr. So Dale and Dale Jr. are both out of it. And that is a big damage, isn't it? I think the tip men are going to be working late tonight on that one. So let's see how it happened. So the 33 car comes across. This is Joe Nemechek. Clips Dale Earnhardt, and he's off. Nearly takes out one of the green Chevrolets there. Bangs off the other wall, so that's a double whammy for Dale Earnhardt Jr. The truck's out to tow him off, so we'll have another yellow flag. This is the 12 car of Jeremy Mayfield, who's up there, taking the opportunity to go in and refuel, as is Rusty Wallace. That's a quick change of tyres. So we've got about 85 laps to go. Matt Kenseth's number 17, the DeVocht Tools Ford. Best place 10th this year for Kenseth in Daytona, the Daytona 500. As Michael Waltrip's number 7 car, the Nation's Rent Chevrolet, eases out onto the oval once again. There's one of those Lycos.comers there. As one goes through the picture. This is where the shunt takes place, off one wall, across the track, and down into the inner wall. So Joe Nemechek did the damage. It looks as though he had a front wheel blowout there. Certainly Dale Earnhardt's side front tyre blew. So let's see if he clipped someone. 33 car going out. There's what it was looking like from behind. And he comes across. That's what it looks like from inside, from Dale Earnhardt's junior car. And I think, like his father, I think his race is over. So there's the pit summaries for our leaders. Mark Mayfield. Burton's up there, the 99 car of Jeff Burton, who is 9th overall at that victory in Las Vegas. The Cars Direct Las Vegas Speedway, which was race number 3 of 34. It is a long, hard season for these drivers and for the car. So they're lined up once again, and off they go again. So the restart, 418 laps. That's 82 laps to go. And it's looks like Jeremy Mayfield, the number 12 car, is still right in there. Right behind him is Rusty Wallace. And then the 22 car of Ward Burton. So Ward Burton's now coming into it, 4th overall at the moment. And also up there is Dale Jarrett in the 88 car. That's Mayfield, Burton and Hamilton. Robert Presley's 77 car, the Ford, the Jasper engine Ford. It's now taking him on. And 2 car of Rusty Wallace is in 3rd position. So we've got 77, 88 and 2. So 77 is Robert Presley, 88 is Dale Jarrett, and of course Rusty Wallace, who's been up there just about throughout, in 3rd position. Looks as though he could be easing by on the inside. He does. Wallace cruises through on the inside, and he could have a double here. No, he's right on the bumper. He was shut out by the 77 car of Robert Presley. In fact, no, he was shut out by the 88 car of Dale Jarrett. So it's Jarrett, and also going through into 3rd position is the 22 car of Ward Burton. So the Pontiac goes through into 4th. So we've got a right mixture of cars up the front here. That's the Ford of Rusty Wallace, right on the bumper of Dale Jarrett, the 88 car. So Wallace moves through on the inside to take the lead once again. So Wallace leads, 75 laps to go. So Wallace, who's 10th overall at the moment, with a couple of 4ths. Of course, won this race last year. He smelled victory then, and he's smelling it again. But 88 has just gone through again, Dale Jarrett, but it's very tight. Jarrett is in 2nd place behind Wallace. So with some 75 laps to go, 74 laps to go, we're going to go for a short break.
Back to NASCAR with DeWalt.
Welcome back to race 6 of 34 of this year's NASCAR Winston Cup. Another restart, 26 laps to go. We just had a huge shunt between the 43 car of John Andretti and the 31 car of Mike Skinner. And it's still the defending champion Rusty Wallace out front in his Miller Lite Ford. And hopefully just go right through to the finish now with just 26 laps to go. So Wallace leads. It's Burton behind, and then Mayfield, who led for quite a while, is in 3rd position. LeBon, who currently heads the NASCAR series, is in 4th position. Johnny Benson in the 10 car is 5th, and the 88 car of Dale Jarrett, who was up there just before we went for the break, is in 6th position. So it's Rusty Wallace pulling away slightly, and let's hope we have a clean race to the finish. There's the 88 car of Dale Jarrett. Has he got a problem? He's certainly slowing considerably here as number 14, the green car of Dick Trickle, the Pontiac, the Conseco Pontiac moves through. That's the 7 car of Michael Waltrip. Just a little bit off the pace, but it's still Rusty Wallace. He won last year in an average speed of 93.363 miles per hour by a mere 0.223 of a second. 10 car is Johnny Benson in the Lycos.com Pontiac, and in front of him is the 1 car of Steve Park. So Park's still in there, the pole position man, but he's a little bit off the pace. What's he back in 10th, 11th position, something like that? It's the 99 car of Jeff Burton, the Exide Batteries Ford. Off the pace with number 40, Sterling, great name, Sterling Marlin in the Coors Light Chevrolet. So Burton and Marling are having a bit of a tussle here. They're considerably off the pace. 43 cars started, 36 cars qualified, and the option to go make it up to 43, and they did. And we certainly lost a few, and we might have lose another one. He was very close. That was Marlin. Nearly crunched the back end of Burton's car. Thought better of it. He backed off slightly. Not a lot of margin for error here. Marlin, Sterling Marlin, is forced right down and comes back up again, pushing out the 5 car of Mark Martin in the Cummins Ford. So our director's concentrating a bit on the further back. But usually this is where all the excitement is. So the 5 car of Terry Labonte goes through. You see he's related to Bobby Labonte, who's leading. 5 car, the Chevrolet of Labonte T from Corpus Christi, Texas. So 15 laps to go, slightly less now. It's still Wallace, Burton and Mayfield. It's the same order as when they started, with 26 laps to go. So 9, in fact now there we are, 10 laps gone since we rejoined them. There's 14 laps to go. So that was the tussle we saw of Marlin down there. He's back in 12th position. Talking of 12, there's the 12 car of Jeremy Mayfield, who is in 3rd spot. There's still Wallace out front. Just got a bit of a lead. And right behind him, Mayfield, and the 10 car of Johnny Benson eases through. He's forced in the inside, and there's nothing that Mayfield could do about that. So I think that's Mayfield down to, 4th position. 24 car Jeff Gordon, who led early on, but he's been relegated to the middle of the pack with the 1 car Steve Park, who started first. So Park's early glory hasn't lasted that long. Certainly not going to get on the podium. So that's 24 car of Jeff Gordon, the 1 car of Steve Park, and going through the number 5 car of Terry Labonte. So Labonte's making a bit of a move here. But he had some problems getting past the 24 car of Jeff Burton. Another Burton, Ward Burton, is also racing, so it's a big family affair here on the Bristol Track Speedway, the Bristol Motor Speedway, should I say. So Wallace still leads. We're under 10 laps to go, 9 laps to go, bearing in mind it's 0.533 of a mile, so it's only something like 4.5 miles to go. And that's not going to take these guys very long at 100 plus miles an hour. That's the 1 car of Steve Park. He started number 1. He's not number 1 at the moment. He's off the pace, but he's giving it everything towards the end of this Bristol Motor Speedway. The 24 car is keeping him in there, Jeff Gordon, and he's cruised on the inside. The 99 car of Jeff Burton right behind. So Park, Gordon and Burton fighting it out here, just off the pace of Wallace, Mayfield and Ward Burton. So Steve Park hasn't had, I think his best position is, he hasn't been placed this year in fact. He goes through on the inside and in 23rd position. Top 5. I don't think he's going to do it now. The 14 car there is going well. That's Dick Trickle's Conseco Pontiac. Well, they've got a cover-up of an earlier shunt, or is he just cutting off one of his air intakes on the front of the car there? The number 5 car of Terry Labonte, the fellow's Chevrolet. Front job, it looks like the Dale Jarrett's Ford. One of the dot commas, that's Johnny Benson's Pontiac. He's down in what, 5th or 6th position. But our leader is still Rusty Wallace, the defending champion here, and it looks as though he could make it 2 straight victories on the Bristol Motor Speedway. Last year, in fact, Wallace started in the pole position and went through to take the victory. What a victory that was, and it looks as though he's done it again. They are delighted, aren't they? That's it. 2 in a row for Rusty Wallace. It's incredible stuff. By the man from St. Louis, or St. Louis as they say. The Miller Lite Ford wins again. 2 straight victories. That can't be bad. Didn't see who was second. Could have been a 22 car of Ward Burton. But we will see in a minute. He is delighted, isn't he? So he should be. That's the way to celebrate. Just a few more dents in these cars don't make any difference, does it? And the pit crew, they're delighted to celebrate with him. He said it's awesome.
April 6, 1986, your very first victory came right here and now, as he gives Jeff Burberry win number 50. Congratulations.
It meant so much to me. Now, I tried for so long to get that number 50, and I got it at my favorite racetrack. I mean, I love all these racetracks, but Bristol's been my home. I got the car dealerships right down the street, and what about this crew, man? The pit stops were fast today, and we worked and worked and worked. I bet we changed more chassis stuff and finally got it nailed perfect at the very end and drove off from him, and it was great. You know, I was real concerned about, well, I should pit there at the end, but decided to stay out because everything was going so good. But, man, I'd like to thank Miller, my sponsors, Mr. Penske. Hope he had a great down Homestead today. We had a good one here today for him. But what a great victory for all the sponsors and all the team. I'm so excited I can't talk.
We heard you make so many adjustments on the car, air pressure, wedge, a track bar. Every pit stop you kept making changes and the car got better and better. When did you know that you were going to have the car to beat?
Well, with about 75 to go, when I got in front of Jeremy let me go by to get 5 points. And I thought he was going to be able to get right past me, but he started getting loose. And then when Gordon had his problem there, that helped me a little bit. And then all of a sudden the car really started handling, though. I was loose all day long. We brought some air up in the left rear tire, put some wedge in it, dropped some air out of the left front, dropped the track bar. Just kept doing stuff like that. And man, that's so hard I just took off. It's flying at the end of the day. So I just can't say enough. I'm proud. It's a special day. I feel like today is like my very first day. What was it, 1986 when I won the 500 here.
We're talking about the old Rusty, but there's Robin Pemberton. Hey, how about this? This is the Rusty of old. Just don't let up.
He was up on the wheel all day long. We had a good car. You know, we didn't have the best track.
No, had a party, I can tell you that. And that is going to be one party to be at later on this evening. If you're in Bristol, I'm sure they'll give you a bit of the sponsored product. So there we got it, the 50th win for Rusty Wallace on his favorite racetrack. I told you this was the racetrack that everyone loves, drivers, fans, pit crews. And I'm sure you've enjoyed it as well. There we are, there aren't many drivers with 50 or more wins. And now Rusty Wallace is on the front page with the 9th best number of wins at 50. So there we are, Rusty Wallace was first, and the number 10 car of Johnny Benson was second, and the 22 car of Ward Burton was third. And Jeremy Mayfield, who kindly let Rusty Wallace through, there we are with what, 70 odd laps to go, as Wallace told us, ended up in 4th position. Well, I hope you enjoyed this race number 6 of 34, and of course you're going to see nearly all of them, if not all of them, the rest of the 28 races here on Eurosport. Don't miss them. Those are the rankings. Lamont still in top with Burton, Martin, Jarrett and Earnhardt, and Wallace now moves up to 6th position from the 10th where he started. I hope you've enjoyed it. Be with you next time.